It's finally time to check out the interview of Kamal Haasan and Shankar with film companion Anupama Chopra. Now, I have seen first movie Indian, Hindustani actually. The whole watch along is available on the channel. We did it live. So I'm ready to watch this interview before, watching the film, which will be really, really soon. So to take the review, definitely check out the main channel, Nona Prince. Again, if you haven't seen the interview, I put the link to it in the description. You can check it out on Film Companions channel. This is a reaction, not a substitute for it. I'll be pausing, talking in the middle. So without any delay, let's go.
Kamal sir, Shankar sir, it's so lovely to have you both on Film Companion.
Hindustani 2.
I want to start by telling you that I was doing a little bit of math. Okay, so your first film, Gentleman, 1993, 31 years ago. You, of course, started as a child artist, 1960, 64 years ago. So the two of you together have 95 years of filmmaking experience. Which is just staggering. And I was thinking, when artists of your caliber and your experience and your wisdom come together, how do you find a shared vision? Especially for a film like this, for Hindustani 2. The first one was a blockbuster. You got a national award for it. The two of you, what conversations did you have to decide the storytelling and the palette of Hindustani 2?
That question itself shows how great of an interviewer she is, how much she has researched before coming here. And that tells from the way she's, posed the question also. And I think she is actually, I don't know if leaving film company because she is the kind of the person, like she owns it. But I think she's now going to handle Hollywood Reporter India division. So I think she said recently it's going to be a last interview on the channel. So I don't know what's the dynamics there, but we're not going to see her more often for the interviews now. Maybe for that channel. I don't know.
When he came to me, I was preparing a similar story.
Independently.
Independent. We had not even met, actually.
Interesting.
So when he told me the story, I was a bit disturbed, as usually two filmmakers come up with an idea. It's happened with Mr. Mani and me.
Oh.
Only one of us can get to do it. So I had thought of Shivaji Sam in my film. It's a father-son kind of situation. So he narrated the story. It was quite close, but not exact. So naturally, selfish thing is I wanted to produce and take in my company. The first thanks for my national award for Indian goes to Shivaji Sam. Because I told him, let's do the film. Gentleman's director wants to do a film with me, but this is the story. He said, we've done it before, me playing the father. That sounds interesting and will be useful for you.
Okay.
So go do that film. That's how it started. So it started with my old man blessing me. So I came, but till then I hadn't told them the reason. So all sorts of things, negotiation were happening. I made it look like negotiation. And finally the producer...
Interesting. Very interesting behind the scene. Like, you would not reveal such things. And I think that's his greatness, right? That he's willing to share that, that he was selfish and, he thought, I want to make it and all of that.
He was waiting. I thought by now he'd have left. Because this whole shenanigan took about 6 months.
Wow.
And my dates were available only after some time. He did not budge. I like that about the director who had this or some other film. So later, when everything fell into place, I modeled myself after my father. They had also looked at various things. I remember on the first day of this set, it's a strange coincidence, people from my village came to see me. My father was no. And they saw, and the old men, my father said, started crying and touching my feet.
Wow. That is the biggest compliment, to the makeup artist. Like, that they believed it's his father, not him. That itself is the biggest thing, the biggest validation you could get?
It was moving personal experience for me. That was day one of the shooting.
Wow.
Wow.
I wanted to buy the film. I paid more than my remuneration
Wow.
to buy the film for one area. So that's my journey with
And that's your connection with it.
Wow.
and we knew it's going to be good, but we didn't expect it to be that.
So big. Yeah.
That
Yeah.
big.
But you said that you wanted to do the sequel right after the first one released, but you didn't have a story.
Yes.
And then at the trailer launch, Atlee said in 2005, when he was your assistant, you were talking about a sequel.
Oh,
Yeah.
How did this story
it makes sense now that Atlee was his assistant.
come?
Yeah, that's what I explained in the same event. After a few years of the release of part one. So when I saw the newspaper, like all the newspaper is having the news of bribe is happening here, in all the states. Like
Nothing's changed.
Nothing has changed.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, like, if Hindustani comes now, what will happen like that? So as I told that time, the feel was there, the idea was there, but it didn't form like a story. So
Okay.
I'm not forcing myself to do something, whatever comes in my mind. So I was waiting. So after every film, when I see the newspapers, the same bribe things everywhere. So
Interesting.
again, I started thinking
Inspiration from real world. That's how it works.
of making a sequel for that Hindustani. I'm not able to crack. So it took a long time, and mainly it took a long time to decide what not to do, because everything is open secret after seeing the first part. So finally, after another 2.0 time, I cracked it. I felt now it has come to good shape. Then I decided to do that. And before I went to him,
Since 2.0, he hasn't done a film, right? Like, I don't remember. So maybe that's long he took to make this,
I make sure, because I'm going to tell a story it's like to an university. So I was well prepared, and I made everything is all right. And once I'm sure that I did my job to a certain level so that it can be accepted by him. So then I narrated him, the part two. So he liked it. So we started making.
That's the standard, Kamal Haasan has said that you need to do all that work before you even come to me. Like, you need to do your homework. Just coming up with the idea concept to me is not going to work,
I saw the first film again, and I was struck by how powerful it still is. And that character of Senapathy is still so strong and appealing. There's that scene when he kills the doctor who refused to treat his daughter. And the camera is just circling there in that television studio. And then
I talked about in my, I didn't make a review. Maybe in Indian 2 review only, I'll include my thoughts on Indian 1 also. And rather than make point of maybe reviewing it separately. I don't know. Yeah, but the technical wise, there's so many amazing moments in the film. Like, so well done. Like, this was thought of, like, in 1996, they pulled it off. Like, it's really special. It still, works. It stands out technically.
one point you look straight at camera, you break the fourth wall, and you
Yeah.
say rishwat dena bhi jurm hai or the rishwat lena bhi jurm hai. I mean, it's like goosebumps, right? How much did you go back to that film to kind of figure out that that's the level of punching we need to do,
See, both the director and Senapathy have not changed. Actor also. So the character will not change.
Yeah.
He is a vigilante. And if he's not a vigilante, it's going to look like he has renounced everything.
Yeah.
And it's another film altogether. So it won't be part two. It's another film altogether. This is that vigilante theme, that pedestrian dream. Everyone wants to do this, but they cannot get to do that in real life.
Social justice.
And it's the same pleasure that they see a man fly and ask this question: is it a bird, a plane, or a man? The same awe is there for Hindus.
That's the thing, right? Like what Senapathy does, or what angry young man, Amitabh Bachchan's character, fighting the authority. Even Superman, the first comic book which came out with Superman, he also used to fight people who take bribes, and public officers and corrupt officials, all of that. He didn't fight aliens and superpower beings. That's how even Superman's journey started, as a hero who saves that, because those were the typical issues people dealt with, and they liked it when a hero is there to save them from all of that. I think same in India, right? Because it's more stronger, the issues are more stronger and prevalent. We would like to see our heroes tackle it on screen. I think that's because the biggest appeal in Jawan.
Family. So that cannot change. That I liked about it. If he had told me the story of a man who goes to Kashi and renounces his violence, then the charm is gone. I wanted him to be. That's why I liked what he had done for the first ad. I think it's older, wiser, and deadlier. And equally, corruption had also aged along with us. Older, meaner, and more crooked.
Yeah. Just speaking of older, how old is he? Because in the first film, Chandru says father is 75.
He's only as old as Superman.
Yes. I'm seeing him as a superhero, and I will explain, because this is a big question everyone is asking. And see, when I did the part 1, I don't know I will be doing a part 2.
Of course.
For that story, I have to be very sincere, and I'm showing a pre-independence era, and so I have to mention his birth year. So when the cops investigate, they will find out he's 1918 or something like that. I forgot it. So now everybody is having all the details, and if he is 1918 means what will be his
100 plus.
I don't know by what year I'll be doing, whether I'll be doing a sequel or not, I don't know. And by which year I will do, no idea. And even we started by 2019, and finally we ended up in 2000.
My God, 5 years.
So that is one side. But I'm seeing him as a martial arts master. Because in China, there are a lot of martial arts masters are there. And one martial art master named Lucy Jiang, who is 118 years old. In that age also,
he knows the name.
He was fighting and flying, kicking and all. Because of the discipline and the way they practice the martial arts. Here, Senapathy also a martial arts master, Varma. Varma is martial art.
The finger thing that he does.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Varma points means the vein points.
Yeah.
So there are 118 or 8 vein points in the human body. So in certain vein, the way he attacks, there will be a different reaction.
I like how detailed he has structured our hero in the film.
Based on the impact and the position and the point. So we tried some new things, because we didn't did on our own. It is there written by the Agastya Munivar, and 2000 years back he has written all those kind of varmas. So some new varmas and all new varmas which was not explored in the part 1. We did in this.
So the reasoning is that the rules that apply to the rest of us don't apply to Senapathy because he's a martial arts expert.
Yeah.
Right?
So because the martial arts, they'll be having doing yoga, they'll be doing meditation, and they will have only one-time food the whole day, and boiled vegetables and the spinaches, and like that. The most disciplined people are the martial arts master. So the age doesn't matter for them. Even if they're 120, 130 also, they'll be very active.
Great.
So I think it's like kind of an explanation to what he can do. But I think that's one thing I liked in the first one, that it didn't feel like a superhero. He mentioned that he looks at Senapathy as a superhero, but in the first one it felt like he's not superhero. He's he even gets caught by the police, he's a human at the end of the day. He's not super being powers and all of that. He's not invincible. That's very important, that he can also be taken down or something like that. But he's smart and he can get out of all of that also. But when he says superhero, right, I just hope they just don't go too over the top, where the relatability factor, that at the end of the day he's a human, that doesn't go away from the story. you know and I think when he's not immortal, like, when you remove that, if you make him immortal and invincible, suddenly it's not, the connection goes away in a way, because you want him to be human because he's fighting for humans, and he's also impacted from that. So I hope that they take the core is not, the first one has a really great core. I hope they continue with that instead of just turning into just a superhero and he's doing all this crazy stuff and everything. They have given example that can live and do all this crazy stuff, but not too much. Like, everything has to come together.
Example is Ramanujacharya of the Vaishnava tradition. He was active till 120, but I didn't get into it because I think we should take it as a compliment from the audience, because they've taken him so seriously. They have a kundali for him.
I'm seeing him as a superhero. Sorry to interrupt.
For them, he really exists.
Yeah.
It is like I was very thrilled and flattered. Hemaji was doing Hey Ram, and she read the script, and then one day I was shooting in my own ancestral house, and she saw the detail, and then she said, now he cannot be that old. Where does he live? I want to meet this Saket Ram. I said, I can arrange for that, but only you can meet part of. She said, wow, what do you mean? Is he all right? I said, he's fine, but you can only meet part of him. But she didn't get the joke. She said, I'd like to meet him. Meet that part, me. So a part of Saket Ram is me, the rest is imaginary.
Of course.
So that's what he's trying to say.
Yeah.
When we made the film, it was a fiction.
Yeah.
Now it's become a fact, because everyone wants to be Indian,
Yeah.
which is a good thing about.
But you said that when he wore that Senapathy outfit again, you got goosebumps,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
What was it like for you to get into that iconic costume again?
The first schedule was inside a museum, and he was shooting that sequence. I think part of it is in the trailer.
Yeah.
And I started off in front of Netaji's poster. That was a slight emotion. I was fully getting ready for the part, but this man looking down at me made something butterflies in the stomach. But
At this age, he's still feeling that. That just shows you how he's into it. The passion, he still has it. Like, because I think some people who get used to making films and suddenly would feel like, oh, it's just a chore for me. Just every day I come on set, I have to, that is a feeling you get. But if he's still feeling that, that shows you that he's still so invested.
what really, today I was speaking in another occasion, and I said there is the twilight zone that the actor, the character gets confused for a moment. In the West, people go for therapy. That happened to me when we were doing a scene with Nedumani Venu without him, because he died midway. So we had to finish. So he had used another person to stand, and I had to talk to him.
Oh, he shot
So
for
they
the
were shooting me prominent, and I have to thank him and hug him. And I didn't know
that'd
who
be
I
sad.
was crying for.
Then
That was the most touching moment, even now.
Wow.
Because I'm very fond of him. He's a great actor. But all good thing comes to an end, and no more Venu. And he had a shot of me hugging him. And the tears that you see in the film is both me and Senapathy.
Wow.
Yeah.
That'll be interesting now knowing this fact, watching the film.
Mani sir said about you that There are some things that Kamal can do that other actors can do, but there are many things that Kamal can do that no other actors can do. I'm sure you agree with that statement. Give me some examples of what is it that he can do. You called him a university. What is it that he can do that nobody else can do?
Yeah, this also I told in the meeting, like one scene where he has to hang in the rope for 4 days, not for one shot, all the shot. He has to hang on the rope.
The wired.
Right, harness.
Yeah, harness.
Yeah.
So, and with prosthetic.
It's an anti-gravity scene.
Okay.
With prosthetic
Revealing too
makeup.
much?
And he has dialogues. He has to speak in Punjabi. And it's a slow motion shot. Like we have to shoot in 48 frames. For that, the lips should sing. So first we have to record it in a normal speed, the Nagara. He has to perform. He has to act like as if the shot is going with a Nagara recorder.
Which is done at 12 frames.
Yeah, he recorded in 24 frames and it will be played in 12 frames. So it will be
Oh,
running
have to
fast,
limp
like,
sync.
like that. So he has to sync that voice which is playing in the Nagara, means the speaker. He has to sing. With that sing, he has to perform. He has to
Oh
speak
my
Punjabi,
God.
and he has to emote. He has to hang on the rope and some activity with his hand and all. No, like I think anybody, like
Wow.
nobody can do that. I think like so. That is one example I can tell. There's a lot of examples.
No, what is difficult is I have to bring it down to 24 frames. A machine can do it easily. So I'll have to bring it down to 24 frames. A 12 frame speed is a very cartoon-like speed.
Right.
But this will have to look convincing as if I'm floating in air. It is not also the natural speed of life and gravity moment. It's anti-gravity moment. So there's the middle speed that they'll have to hit.
Wow.
It was difficult.
That is so complicated. My God. Isn't there any other way to accomplish this? I wonder. I'm sure they went through all the things they could, but that's crazy.
But he gave me all the time. But all the time I had to hang. So I was just joking to Mr. Piyush. Somebody was trying to introduce us. I said, now we know. We used to hang around together.
Literally.
Literally hang.
But he don't have dialogues.
Right.
He is having dialogues.
So it's literally hanging around.
But Kamsa, when you are faced with something as challenging physically in every way, something like this, do you ever have a moment of like, okay, I've done this long enough. Why are you putting me through this? Do you ever, or are you always up to the challenge?
Yeah, that would have happened if the film is uninteresting, if the director is not demanding enough, then you feel all that. I never felt it in this. That's a credit to him, the story. And automatically, it's like in a movie. People shift in a movie that they are not interested in. Same thing happens to an actor. For a producer, it's different.
Wow.
He's number crunching. So it's another kind of excitement for him. If it comes within this calculation, he's very happy. He's traveling happily along.
Yeah.
But actors, and I always promise.
That's such a amazing thing, right? Like how an audience feel like, a movie they're not liking and they just get disinterested. That's can happen to an actor performing in that film if he's disinterested. Like, wow.
Myself, no more prosthetics. I don't want to do this. And then something,
Famous last words.
yeah, famous last word. It comes back, and only a good film can make me go through that pain again.
Speaking of prosthetics, I read, tell me if this is true, that when you were doing the first film, Michael Westmore, the Oscar-winning makeup artist, who was the makeup artist on that film and is the supervisor on...
No, he did it for free. He never came in contact with the production.
For 2 and 3.
For this, he was always watching all the makeup artists. They used to quietly call him and ask their doubts, and he was giving it away. He retired.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
I went back
Okay.
to him when we had a problem because of all these things. Because the human face keeps changing every year.
Hmm.
So we started 6 years back. So we weren't sure whether the pieces would fit.
Oh.
All that he sort of broke it down for us. And many makeup artists have worked in very many sequences. All of them he quietly over a phone call coordinated for free.
Wow.
What were you asking for?
I read that the test for the first film was that you got into the whole prosthetics and the makeup, and then you walked from your home to your studio, and nobody
No,
recognized
that
you.
is when we did the sequence. That scene you were talking about. And we were,
In the TV studio.
a part of that scene was shot in actual television studio
Right.
exterior. And we didn't
Okay.
have too many shots. I come out of a manhole and break into that studio and take over the studio. So after that,
Okay, the film version I saw, he just takes a van and they are in the studio. That's it.
I asked him, that's it? He said, yeah, that's all. We have an outdoor sequence. So I didn't take the car back. It was about 2 kilometers from my place where I was 2 or 3 kilometers. And I never got to walk that street where I lived in for whole lifetime. So I bought BDs, I bought bananas. I was walking down the street, which I've never done before. Nobody recognized me. I had a muffler
Wow.
on my head and a khaki dress. And that was the litmus.
Wow.
That was the test.
Senapathy.
My
I remember
God.
that. I called up Michael Westmore and he said, I have done the premiere. What? You just started shooting. No, the premiere is done for me. It works.
That's amazing. Okay, and I also read that the film actually was not planned as a 2 and a 3, but when you finished shooting, it was about 5 to 6 hours, and then you decided that it would be split up into 2 parts with 3 coming in 2025.
Yeah.
Is that true?
Okay.
But how does that impact on the edit? Did you not have to kind of maneuver that as well?
Yeah, see, I'll explain you. Like when I did the part 1, it's only happening in one state.
Yeah.
Okay.
That story itself, it was 3 hours, 20 minutes, the part 1.
Yep.
And this
I
story
saw a 2-hour 56-minute version.
is spreading all over the country. So naturally the story become big. So I thought I can compress it in one part. And I have no idea about doing a sequel and all when we started. But once we shot and go in detail, every scene took a very good shape. Once I started editing, I was keep on compressing after a certain levels. Each and every scene cannot be trimmed because it reached this, from my point of view, saturation level, whatever. Like you can't cut even a 1 frame more than that. So it was so lively that there is a good feel and soul in each and every scene. So in that way, whatever I compress, no, it won't come under 3 hours or 3 or maximum 3:15. It won't come. At the same time, I'm able to see there is a possibility of 2 parts without any compromise. There is a
That's good
wholesomeness
to hear.
in both the part. So for the sake of compressing, no chopping, and I don't want to kill the soul of each and every scene. And there is a possibility of making it in 2 parts. So it naturally evolved. Then we all decided to make it in 2 parts. So both the parts have the wholesomeness, and I hope it will fulfill the audience.
It's not an exact parallel, but when Coppola made Godfather, he was so pressurized by the studio, his casting decisions, everything didn't happen the way he wanted. He had to fight for every inch of the journey.
Yeah.
And there are moments in the book where I read that he completes a schedule and cries.
My God.
And somebody had to console him
Yeah.
that he couldn't shoot it the way he wanted. Then he makes Godfather 2, which is actually Godfather 1. And it's not with the same actors.
Yeah.
So it's a belief.
Yeah.
I was not for it,
Interesting.
in spite of being the director who wrote Vishwaroop. I looked at the length of the script. Even before shooting, I decided I'll not make either 2 films or not make it at all. Because it was 350 pages or something.
Wow.
It cannot come into one sitting
Yeah.
unless I make it for OTT. There was a moment when because of that reason, I thought of going OTT.
Right.
It
Right.
got me into a lot of trouble.
Correct.
Oh.
I never went that direction.
I don't know about this trouble though, but him, when he says it automatically, became 2 films and no compromise, so that's good to hear. And I hope the ending is not like midway you are left. I hope it's a ending but a cliffhanger, and the story continues ahead. It'll be like that. You feel the full circle of a film and then you continue the next film, of course the same story continuing, not a part 2 of how the story goes. It's connected directly, but he said compromise not there, so that's great to hear. And considering that means they shot the film, so when we get 3, I think they've already done the shooting, or maybe extra scenes they have to shoot, but almost it's ready, so it will not be a long wait. Maybe this year, next year early, we get the third part also.
And my advice first when he said is, don't go there.
So just do it as one film.
But then it's his conviction, and he believed his story won't be complete unless it's narrated.
Yeah. But there is an argument to be made that this franchise, which of course, and the first had such massive impact, is also propagating a sort of a dangerous kind of vigilante justice, right? Because you're justifying murder as a response to corruption. What is your response to that?
No, my response is different. His response is different. The moment he uses the word that he's like a Superman, it's you cannot tell children that if you say a particular word and if you come from kryptonite, you can jump off a building. It's very dangerous. In here, people have died after watching a television show. Children have jumped off a thing. That is something, but this is a pedestrian breed. That way, Bruce Lee is dangerous for college kids or any, because if you copy his moves in real life, you'll end up with manslaughter. At least attempted manslaughter.
Right, right.
So those dangers are there, but I believe in democracy. But there are many, many people in the country who say that there must be somebody who must fix these things. That's
it's
the
emotion.
Of the film. And that's how we'll have to look at it.
Yeah.
The films are responsible, but you can't take it too seriously and start parenting the film. That's what our censor board of, not the certification board, I'm talking about the censor board, used to play parent to the audience. But they have no right to play that. So I'm very sure that if you have the mark of skull and bones on it, people won't drink it. Yeah.
So you justified that he's Superman and therefore it's fine, right?
No, but it's a prevalent thought pattern. So
this is an interesting discussion. I don't think anyone else would bring this topic but she, and it's good to hear this side also. What do you how do you answer this criticism?
he executed, he becomes a momentary hero. The suspended disbeliefs, epitome or characters like these.
Yeah, and it's very
They come out
satisfying.
of the theater, they know it is not possible in life.
Of course.
But that moment, they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Most of the heroes in fantasy are that. And this is close to life fantasy.
Yeah.
They can live that moment happily.
Yep.
That's for the same
Escapism.
reason you watch a boxing match. You can't indulge in it on the street. But he keeps shouting along with the fighters to left and right and go for the gut and stuff like that.
Great answer.
Yeah. You know, Shankar, sir, I was reading about how the legendary K. Balachandran wrote you a letter after Entheran.
Yeah.
And he said that watching the film made him like a little boy because he was clapping in glee. And he said, the translation is that cinema is not a mere business for you. It's like a beast inside which chases your obsession for creativity and pushes your imagination and drives your horizons to greater and wider geographies. Which is, I mean, what an incredible compliment. And
Yeah.
I think that's true for both of you.
That is well written, I think, and that coming from a person like that, it's always special.
Cinema is a beast inside.
I at least will remember the man fondly. We have done 36 films together.
Yes, yes.
Wow.
And this letter, he comes from the heart. I know it because I've received 3 letters. He need not write to me. I know when he smiles what he means, or when he nods what he means. But
Wow.
he will take the time to write, and I'm sure you would have even met him and said the same content of the letter. He is a very passionate filmmaker, and he owns up other people's work.
Which is so generous.
Very, very, not only generous, but very genuine.
Yeah, yeah. But my question is this, that this beast inside the both of you, this beast of cinema, how do you keep it hungry? How do you keep challenging yourself after all these years? Like I said, 95 years between the two of you. So what do you do to kind of nurture the beast? What do you do, sir?
Yeah. தேடல்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. What is that? Is search or what is
Search. Yeah.
Search.
search? See, once we finish this, and your mind will look, search for something more. So naturally, I have to search something better than what I did before. So after this film, also I'll be searching. I think simply that's the way I can tell.
For me, it was like slightly different. Maybe the years, and you become either tired or sick with all these things. There are 2 medicines which takes you forward. One cures you, another eggs you on. One is a tonic, and so is a medicine. For me,
This man, my God. Oh my God, it's just like wisdom, like dropping off him.
that tonic is applause, and the medicine is good criticism. And when you get it, when somebody does it with not, see, I'm sure Mr. Balachandran, if both of us had spent another 5 minutes and asked him, what did you find wrong? With the same passion, he would tell us what is wrong with them. But we are so happy with the compliments received, we run away with the compliment. But if you ask him, he'll tell you which could be more constructive for the future. But that has happened to me in many times, not just by failure. They excuse a film sometimes, they make it a success, but they say, you could do better films. And the surge increases. So they let this one go. You feel inferior in spite of the success. And then you want to do
You want to do
one
better.
than that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's why I treat criticism and even applause. The level and the degree of applause tells us it itself is a criticism.
Right.
Then I'm not up to the last time's performance.
Yeah.
Why isn't it as loud? So I become nervous. That eggs me on.
You still get nervous?
Yes, of course.
Really?
Of course. Without which, the fun is not there. The applause is fun is you do it. I'm sure you ask Mr. Dhoni or any sportsman, that moment before the guns fire, that moment before they flag you off, it's there, whether it's a sports car driving or
I think that's the what do you call, that's tells you, a proof that you are still excited, you want to do it. It's a trigger, it's you want to do it. That's what you want to do it, which things which make you feel that, but you still want, it, you want to run away, not run away, but uh, you're unsure of, you are, not comfortable, but you still want to. I think that's the way to find out what you want to do in your life.
It's there for all of us. When that dies, that means it's like crossing the street. It's not a journey. You've done it so many times, you have to look left and right, no car, cross. But a journey is something you don't expect anything. Unexpected things can happen. So every time it's like crossing an expressway with a curve. You don't know what's coming around.
And that's what
My
makes it
God.
magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For both.
Yeah.
This guy is unbelievable, man. I think we just need podcast sessions of him every month or every week, whenever he can. Just talk.
For
We
both.
need to, protect him and, preserve his knowledge and his wisdom for the ages to come.
The audience and the filmmaker, the actor, the performer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why do you think what is interesting? I always watch something. My best reaction comes from that gentleman who's holding the light and the cutter. And I see a man chuckle or have tears in his eyes. I know I've done right. For him, it's an everyday chore.
So to get a response means you hit it.
Yeah, he's like an old mother feeding the children for school, They're irritable, they just have to do it. But when they get excited and they're smiling, it gives me, as a matter of fact, one of the film director was not sure about a particular character I had written, Ravi Kumar. One man who changed all that for both of us, we were arguing about it, was a light boy who couldn't stop chuckling. Every time he saw me in the Balram Naidu, Sirichite irpadu. Sir, he is my audience, please, let's go through it. So he changed both our, he stopped the argument.
Right.
And he made
Wow.
the director say start.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. The other thing I wonder about, Shankar sir, is how you get these images in your head. Some of the images he creates, like the things, from your last film, the cell phones in that room, they're just lining the sea. I mean, I walked out of that film thinking, okay, I'm never going to use a cell phone again. And of course, that didn't last. But where do these images come from? Even the songs are massive and just so beautiful to look at.
Thank you.
Where does it come from?
See,
We all
it
want to know
was
that.
Actually, my first image for the 2.0 is suddenly something came in my mind, like a pool of or a river of cell phones, glowing cell phones, traveling in a road. That's the first shot or image came in my mind. I don't know why. So that was sticking my mind, always. What is that? What is that?
Wow.
What will be the story behind?
From that to, getting a whole film, and it's interesting, how a visual, just suddenly an imagination can give a spark, and that ends up being a whole 3-hour long film.
That so it fragmented, like slowly it evolved like the story. I don't know what is happening inside.
They just come. They just pop
They
into your
just
head.
come, and one spark, if you like it, if you believe it, it will grow. If you didn't like it, it will die very soon. So something which excites me, automatically it grows, like unknowingly, like.
How wonderful.
Wow.
What a mind. Okay, 2 last questions. I cannot let you go without asking about the next projects. So where are we on Game Changer, sir?
Yeah, almost finished, and I have another 10 to 15 days shoot. So
Okay.
I'm waiting for the release. Once the release, I'll be finishing that. And as soon as I lock the final footage, post-production, and we can see, like, it will release as soon as possible.
Nice. So we might have two Shankar movies coming very close to each other.
Yeah.
And I'm waiting for the third
Nice.
one for me.
Of course. No, that's what I meant. So we would have Hindustani 3 as well as Game Changer.
Yeah.
Nice,
Yeah.
nice. And so I know you will not tell me anything about Thug Life, but my question is this: like him, Mani sir and you created a landmark film, right? What is the joy of working with someone like that again? Two people who created this amazing thing in the same sandbox playing again.
Yeah, sandbox is a good word you came up with. We actually had the sandbox is in Eldams Road in my house. There were this young man, one had already hit stardom. That's me. I was working with a great director called Balachandra. And he is an aspiring man who just wanted to write stories. We used to keep talking stories in Eldams Road. And sometimes many writers will come. So it's a good atmosphere. And we enjoyed that part as much as we enjoyed making.
That's a good
We are a
sign.
team. It's a pity that we didn't get to work together. But when you see an old friend, the pleasure is there, and the language that you've created, a language of understanding, is so.
You know what? I was wondering which film she's talking about. They made together the epic film, and I was just thinking, which film, and just hit me. Oh, I forgot the name. No, it's in my head. The Godfather remake. No, please, the name. Come on. It's coming. It's flashing in my head. Thalai. No, that's something else. Nayagan.
Unique that people in the set notice it.
Really?
Which is, did we do that? We disagree and agree with a nod or a smile because we had this conversation.
Yeah.
You just nod. It's like this baseball camp. They do something with their hand.
Correct.
And that's a signal for them. So we seem to have developed a language that way. That's fun.
Yeah.
And I think more than money success part of it is that these were two young people who were talking. They were in the 20s when they met,
Yeah.
early 20s. And they kept talking. They never thought they will really make it this far.
Wow.
This is what they
What
call
a
it, the
journey.
hole in the wall gang. They never thought they were going to rob a bank like this. But they actually had guns in their hand. They could go and shoot and ride away with the.
Yeah.
So that's how we feel now. We just wanted to do it. And we used to read Mario Puzo and start casting the film. Even Coppola had not started.
You and Mani sir were casting
We
Godfather.
cast the film. So we were so impressed with the film. And we used to have arguments about the casting.
What fun.
That's where we
That's like a cinephile, discussion, just having fun. I would like to be in that room.
started from.
Right.
I think your husband will be able to find many incidences
Yeah.
where people in the institute, like that day, Nazir Saab was saying about this mad guy who used to keep shooting leaves with hands. He used to go near a leaf and with his hand he'll be framing. I've seen this man from that time. And now he has made this film. He said, that's a pleasure.
Yeah.
So Nazir Saab and Vinod Chopra will understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And I'm assuming it's the same between the two of you.
Yes,
You met when you were so young as well. Yeah. How wonderful. How wonderful. Well, I cannot wait to see it July 12th. Thank you so much
Same
and
here.
all best for Hindustani too.
Thank you.
That was a great interview, and I just remember even I think we had a whole discussion, right? The actors discussion where Kamal Haasan and S.S. Rajamouli all were there, Prithviraj, and it was really like wow. So that was also amazing. Again, he was dropping these gems, and again, what an interview! Just make Kamal Haasan keep talking. So much wisdom he has, and so many things of he articulates what he thinks is just outstanding. And the experience he has about films, like I think every cinephile, every person who love movies, he'll get so many things just to sit and listen to him. That's the greatest part of what he does. It's outstanding. But even Shankar, I've yet to see a lot of films. I feel like I have not seen enough of his films, especially the older ones, because Indian was like so revealing that I didn't revealing it was a revelation that I didn't expect it, and now I want to see more of his older films, because I think people told me his older films are better than the newer ones. But I'm looking forward to Indian too. I hope it delivers. Very very excited for it. Yet to book tickets. I think they are out. I know by the time you're watching this video. If you're watching, let me know in the chat. Say tickets booked. Not tickets booked. That'll be very generic. What do you say? Podcast. No, that's also very far away. Okay. Type how much for the ticket. Just type this. I'll know you have watching till now. But I don't know why you're watching. I'm just rambling here. Thank you for watching. If you leave your thoughts in the comments below. Check out this video next, and I will see you next time.